All right. So once again, my name is Mary Obler. I work for the Fort Vancouver Regional Libraries, and we are very excited to offer our Staying Financially Healthy in a Pandemic program. Of course, this is only possible with the assistance of the Washington State Attorney General's Office. Just a few reminders. Elena, if you will move to the next slide. Just a few kind of etiquette reminders to keep your microphone muted when you are not speaking. I believe in this webinar format, your microphone will automatically be muted. We do have a chat available. If you would like to chat, you can answer questions or make comments to the presenters. That's myself and Elena. Just remember to keep them on topic and appropriate, of course. We do anticipate, or we do expect that all attendees at our virtual programs abide by our rules of conduct just as they would in an in-person program. And if for some reason we found that you were not participating appropriately, it may result in your removal from the program, which we hope will not happen. We do have two options for answering or for asking questions. At the bottom of your screen, there should be a Q&A function that will allow you to ask questions, which you can do so anonymously if you prefer. We will either save those until the end, or I may interrupt and we may get those answered in the moment. And if you have any other questions, feel free to put them into the Q&A. You can also put them into the chat, and I'm happy to answer them. Either we'll answer verbally or we can answer through the text. So that is basically everything for reminders. So let me introduce Elena Huizar. She is the Outreach Services Supervisor for the Consumer Protection Division with the Office of the Attorney General for the State of Washington. And she has graciously agreed to be here today to help us learn a little bit more about how to protect ourselves from scams and other concerns that we may see, particularly in light of the pandemic. And I will pass it over to Elena to take it over.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you for having us. We're excited to be here with you guys and partnering with the Fort Vancouver Regional Library System. As you can imagine, the Attorney General's Office is hearing a lot of things about scams and ways that people are attempting to get to our money. And so, especially in a pandemic, the sad thing is that these types of individuals do take advantage of and in this case, a worldwide crisis, and a lot of times nationally, like we'll see some scams happening during a natural disaster as well, in not just in our state, but nationally. So right now we wanted to bring information on how to keep yourself financially healthy in a pandemic, because right now we are focusing a lot on staying healthy, social distancing, which is why we're doing this today, which is really exciting. This is our first live streaming of a presentation. So I'm excited to see, how far this will reach out. I usually do my presentations in person. So if I seem a little weird on camera, it's because this is the first time I've actually done something like this. So we're so excited to be doing that with Fort Vancouver Regional Library, and we're so thankful to be here with you guys. And thank you for taking an hour out of your Saturday to join us and learn about staying healthy, financially healthy in a pandemic. So today's agenda, we're going to give you a little bit of an overview, if you're in Washington State, of your Office of the Attorney General. And then within that is the Consumer Protection Division, which is where I work. And I'll give you a little bit of an overview of that as well. Then we'll talk about pandemic scams or scams themselves, identity theft prevention, and then some resources that we have for you. And then later on, if we have your contact information, Mary and the library staff will send you some resource information that we've put together on behalf of our staff, some PDF documents that you can print off as you'd like, or resources that you can link to, information where you can check out more information on how to just keep yourself financially healthy. And there's a lot of things happening now, but it's really good practice to make sure that, like, for example, you're checking your credit reports and things along those lines. That's the type of things that we should be doing constantly, and just making sure that our identity is safeguarded. So the Office of the Attorney General, it's our job to provide independent, excellent legal services to the state of Washington. And I like to explain this because people will say, well, Sounds like you guys are a buffet of lawyers. Yes, there are a lot of attorneys in our office. We do have offices all across the state of Washington, including one in Vancouver, Seattle, Olympia, Yakima in Eastern Washington. So we do have a lot of offices statewide, but we like to tell people, or how I like to explain it is that if, for example, you were having a legal issue or something along those lines, you would look for an attorney. Well, if the state gets into some legal issues, we are attorneys for the state of Washington. So we don't provide legal counsel to an individual. So I wouldn't be able to go to our office and get an attorney to represent me, but we do represent the state. But within consumer protection, we do represent all the people. And so in the mission of the Consumer Protection Division is to make sure that we are providing a marketplace for the people of Washington that is safe from deceit, from unfairness, fraudulent practices. And we do this through enforcement, which boils down to we can sue businesses and do sue businesses that are in violation of the Consumer Protection Act. We provide effective education. Today we're here with you. And then creative problem solving, because we do have a wonderful staff of investigators, legal assistants, paralegals that give a support and supplement the attorneys when there is a need to take something forward and to be, taking some legal action on behalf of the state of Washington. And it's all a result of consumers letting us know what's happening. And how you do that is we have a consumer services call center, and these are some of the statistics that you can take a look at on some of the work that we do. So we do have a call center that is open Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And we take calls. Right now, we're taking them remotely. So, people are giving us a call and letting us know what they're seeing, what's going on out there. The Attorney General, if you go to our website, and you'll get that information at the end as well, has a see it, snap it, send it opportunity where if you see any price gouging, if you see anything along those lines, take a picture of it, send it to us, and report that to the Attorney General's office, because we are taking a look at everything that you guys provide to us, because it's consumers, it's people like you who let us know what's going on that allows us to make sure that that marketplace continues to be free from deceit. So in 2019, which was just last year, it seems like we've lived a long time, right, in 2020, we had 17,000 written complaints come to our office, 22,000 phone calls. So we have, the call center is only open a short, not a short amount of time, but, 10 to 3, because we do have time to work on the complaints that come in to be able to process those before and after in our work day, right? But within that, 5-hour span, our staff is working really hard, and they take over 100 phone calls a day. And then last year, just through our informal complaint resolution process, we returned $11.8 million back to consumers. And that's not lawsuits, that's not litigation in any way, that's us. Our staff working in the call centers, working the complaints, and when you file a complaint with our office, and we do our best to be able to make sure that the marketplace is free from deceit. In 2018, we had 18,000 written complaints, 19,000 phone calls, and over $8 million in savings to consumers. So as you can see, we've gone up every year. So we'll see what 2020 has in store for all of us, right? So getting into the meat of our presentation, we're going to talk about scams. And so I figured I would start out with a description, or the, I'm kind of nerdy in the sense that I like things defined, and I like to explain things with a definition. So basically, what is a scam? What does that even mean? I know people say, oh, back in the day, it used to be like a con artist or a scam artist or things along those lines. Well, what is a scam? A scam describes any fraudulent business or scheme that its intent is to take money or goods from somebody who doesn't realize that whatever they're being told is not actually happening, is fraudulent, basically. So one of the things that we've discovered is as people become more connected to the world via the internet, the scams is on a rise. You could check out reports. We partner with the Federal Trade Commission, with the FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation, and they have a ton of literature and information on how every year these types of scams have gone up and have incremented every year. So the definition of a scam, if you look at it as a noun, it's a fraudulent or deceptive act or operation. And then if you look at it as a verb, it is to deceive or to defraud someone. So scams can be pretty heinous. Not only do we lose money, but we also feel, taken. There's those feelings of shamefulness. And just to kind of get this out of the way, I myself have been scammed. A lot of people don't realize, they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to tell people that they've been scammed. But me, who works in consumer protection, has been scammed. So this next slide is actually a disclaimer. So we do find that when we were going out and doing these types of presentations in person, we talk about the scams, and we discovered that sometimes people felt that, like, if they had a business or they knew someone who had a business that was kind of related to what we were talking about, maybe they thought that they got the impression that we were saying that all these types of things are scams. Well, the point that we want to get across is that scammers will use something that looks familiar to you to make you fall for it. So it's not that we're saying that the following are all scams. It's more that look for the signs, because they will disguise themselves in something that you know. So I'm going to read this to you. I don't like to read my my PowerPoint slides, but this we do read because, again, it is a disclaimer on behalf of our office, just to let you know, how these scammers hide themselves. So the following are examples of scams that utilize very common or frequently used business products, models, or services in order to take advantage of consumers. It's important to note that these scams are based on actual services offered by legitimate businesses, and scammers count on that and make it difficult for consumers to distinguish between the legitimate services and their scam. Our goal today is to provide you with information to help you identify behaviors and practices that will assist you in recognizing the red flags to safeguard yourself against fraudsters, and not just yourself, family members as well. So hopefully today, whatever information that you take home with you, you're going to talk about it to someone else, and someone else will talk about it to someone else, and maybe you'll go back to the library's page and watch this video and its recording stage and have it just to watch later on, or show it to someone else. So now we're going to talk about the signs of a scam. So what we've discovered in doing these types of presentations, we can talk about scams all day long, all the different types of scams. And, people will say, well, how come you didn't talk about this scam? Well, why didn't you talk about this scam? And because what we want to give you is ultimately the meat of a scam is 5 signs. If you can check off one or more of the following signs that, are up on the screen right now, it's probably a scam. So all of a sudden you get a random text, you get a phone call, you get an email, and they're offering you a job opportunity. They're saying that you want a prize or claim that you owe money for a debt. How many of you got that one? I have multiple times. And you don't remember this debt. In the Latino community, I'm bilingual. In the Latino community, I've heard that people will say, well, they bought like a book set or a video set to learn English, right? But they did this years ago when it was very popular to do something like that, and now they can check them out at the library. And then they said, well, you never paid for that. Well, a lot of times if you are bilingual or if you are monolingual, one language, then sometimes you do buy courses to get yourself prepped for learning another language. And so they bank on that. These scammers bank on you've done some sort of business, and then they can say, well, you know what? You owe something, or we sent you something and you never paid for it. So it's a debt that you don't recall. And this out of the blue type of contact can turn threatening right away. It sounds too good to be true if it's some sort of a prize or a lottery. And what you need to do is report it. So number one, if it's some type of unsolicited contact, it's probably a scam. All of a sudden you get some sort of phone call, text message, or something along those lines. It's probably a scam. And the second one, so if there's this threat, this sense of urgency, this emergency. You must take care of this now. So don't let that threat of losing a prize, losing a deal, or the possibility of someone that you love being in danger of getting arrested, going to jail, getting, deported, or something along those lines. If there is a danger, but in order to prevent that, you need to send money. That's a red flag. If there's some action that needs to happen right now, you cannot hang up. The AARP is also another organization that partners with us, and they did this whole video of this woman who got a phone call on a Friday afternoon stating that she had a warrant for her arrest. And in order for her to take care of that warrant, she had to pay $800 right then and there on the phone, but they wouldn't take, and that's the next one, unconventional payment methods. They wouldn't take a check or a credit card. She had to drive to her local store. I can't recall if it was a Walgreens or a Walmart or something where they sold those prepaid gift cards. And she had to pay her government fine to not be arrested with a gift card. And what is a gift card? A gift card is just that. It's a gift that you give to someone else. And I can guarantee you that a government entity is not going to request that you pay them with a gift card. So if they're asking you to wire money, if it's a prepaid debit card or a gift card, these are the most common ways that a scammer will try to separate you from your money. It's the equivalent of handing them over cash. That's why we give those gift cards to teenagers, right? Because we don't know what to get them. We don't want to give them cash, so we give them a Visa gift card, which they can spend wherever. Cash they might lose. If it was me, I would have lost it. Or you get them a certain, gift card for a certain store. If all of a sudden you get a call from the IRS that says you owe back taxes, and the only way to pay your back taxes is to pay with an iTunes gift card, that's a red flag. The next one is when they request for personal information. If they all of a sudden start asking you, hi, we're from your financial institution and we'd like to verify that you're you because your account has been compromised. And you think, wow, that's so great that my bank is doing that. Well, you provide them the information and now they have your contact information on how to get into your bank account. So you need to be really careful. Again, it's back to number one, unsolicited contact. If all of a sudden you get a phone call from your bank, it's unsolicited contact. Hang up, say, you know what, I'll call my bank on my own. And the last thing that we see, if they tell you to keep it secret, don't tell anyone about this, especially if it's a loved one scam. Don't tell anybody, grandma, I got arrested in Canada, or I have to go to court or something along those lines. Just send me the money. Don't tell mom and dad. If they tell you to keep it secret, or don't tell anyone else, because if you tell them, they're just going to want to, they don't want you to win this money, or they don't want you to do that. If it's some sort of secrecy, it's probably a scam. So any one of those 5 signs, look for that. If you get something like that, it's probably a scam. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So giving you some more information on some of the scams that our office sees year-round, phone calls that we get, complaints that we get in writing and on the internet, our webpage. Common scams, the first one is tech support scam. It's been pretty well publicized. Microsoft, the FTC, AARP, even the Better Business Bureau, all of us, the Attorney General's office, we've all done press releases on this topic. And the Microsoft actually partnered with us and with the FBI to let people know that if you do get something like this, they want to know. They want to know the number. They want to know who called you. They want to know, even though these scammers are able to change their numbers and mask who they are, that doesn't mean that, Microsoft has a lot of money. They're putting some, real big investments into trying to find out these people and shut them down. So I'm sure a lot of you have gotten that phone call where someone's claiming to be from Microsoft, your computer's running slow. Who doesn't want a fast computer, right? Who doesn't want to have the latest and greatest technology? Well, I can tell you right now, Microsoft does not have the time to call you to tell you that your computer's running slow. So they the scam is that they take you through the process, you give them information, you give them access to your computer, and now they have access to absolutely everything that is on your laptop. Any documentation that you have in there, any documents that you have saved in your laptop, if you're writing a novel, they have access to your unpublished manuscript. So don't give anyone, again, it's unsolicited contact. All of a sudden, Microsoft calls you to tell you that something's wrong with your computer. Sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And if something is wrong with your computer, and if it's something, for example, Microsoft, you have software that you purchase from them, you have a 1-800 number on the back of whatever software, on the back of your laptop sometimes, where you can call and ask for additional information. But at that point, you are making the contact. It's not something that's coming out of the blue. So what do? Hang up the phone. Don't talk to these people. And then remember that there are ways to report a tech scam. Legitimate companies won't contact you by a phone or by email or by text message to tell you that there's a problem with your computer. A security pop-ups, if you see that it's from a real tech company, they're not going to put a phone number in that pop-up to tell you to call that number. It's going to say you should probably run a scan or something along those lines. And if you see something like that, it's a pop-up, it has a 1-800 number, call us now, and it's flashing and it looks really important. There's a little red X at the top, and just X that out and close it. So the sweepstakes or lottery scam, this capitalizes on the fact that we all want to be winners, right? So the scammers inform the person that supposedly won that they have this prize that's waiting for them. But in order to get the prize, they have to have some sort of a payment, and that unlocks this prize, right? So a lot of times they'll target senior citizens, and so they'll get sent a check that they can deposit into their account, and then pay those fines from that check, send us the money, pay the fines, and then days later that check gets rejected and it bounces, and now you're on the hook to your financial institution for the amount of money that you doled out to someone else. So don't, if it sounds too good to be true, don't, it probably is, don't believe it. Unless you entered our, for example, state lottery, then you know that you entered it. But if all of a sudden you get this phone call information that you won a lottery, you won these sweepstakes, how did that happen? Did you sign up for something like that? Did you, and if you have any doubt at the end of the day, give us a call. Please give us a call. We will walk you through this. Now, the Attorney General has touted the next one, a family emergency, aka the grandparent scam, as the most heinous scam that there is. And to be honest with you, it really is, because this scam preys on emotions, preys on people wanting to help their family members. And it actually happened to my mom some years ago. My sister was my mother's caregiver, and my sister calls me and she says, "Hey, Elena, it sounds like our cousin's coming from Texas." And somebody called mom, because mom answered the phone, and she was at the time she was by herself. My sister was running some errands, and she comes back, and my mom's so excited because our cousin's coming, and he's coming from Texas. And you guys know, if you've been to Texas, it's super warm, and if you come to Washington, it's a big difference. So it wasn't very often that we had family come from Texas, and my mom was super excited. And all of a sudden, my sister calls me, kind of keeping it on the down low, and she says, "This sounds like a scam." And I said, "Yes, where does your sister work?" "She works for the Attorney General." "It is a scam." I said, "Okay, well, here's how you can find out. Call him, find out where he is." And she called him, and at the end found out that he was actually installing storm windows for one of his daughters, and there was no one coming from Texas. But when this person called back to see if they could get money sent to them because their car broke down in Oregon, my sister was ready for them. So it preys on people's emotions. It preys on people wanting to help a family member. And my mom really was hurt that she thought that someone was coming, and then she felt she was embarrassed because she, if it wouldn't have been for my sisters and myself, she might have been taken for some money to someone who wasn't a family member. And so, and even the Attorney General, his mother, has also gotten phone calls like this claiming to be from family members. So scams, just know that scams do not discriminate, and anybody can get these types of phone calls. And again, I say, he says, and I agree with him, that these are the most heinous scams because they prey on someone's desire to help someone else. So what we recommend is if a family member calls you and if they're asking for information, or if you get a Facebook message, let's say they're not even calling you, they send you a message on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, wherever, whatever social media you have, and they're claiming that, they're going through something, or they're stuck somewhere in another country, contact that person directly. Or what we also recommend is maybe create some sort of a password, a safe word, like, you can make something up and say, how's Fido doing today? And if they say, oh, they're great, well, they may not even have a Fido. That doesn't exist. Maybe they're cat lovers. So, make it something that you're able to distinguish that it's your loved one and not someone posing as your loved one. Because it's hard to distinguish over the phone, especially if it's somebody that someone that you love. These scammers can download apps now that will make it sound like they're at an airport. They can make a female voice turn into a male voice and vice versa. So please be vigilant, ask questions, don't take anything at face value, and especially if there's some sort of an urgency or an emergency, stop, think, ask questions, tell it to someone else. The next thing is the advanced fee fraud, which kind of plays into some of the other ones as well. So this occurs when a victim pays money to someone in the anticipation of receiving something that's going to be greater in value. Again, sweepstakes or lottery, you have to pay to get your prize. You pay for something in advance, and then you get whatever it is that you're paying for. So we had a division chief some years ago. He's now retired, but he had a brother who was selling his vehicle on one of those websites that you can sell your items on, that are very popular. And he sold his car to this individual who claimed to be a soldier and was coming into Washington State. But the soldier said that they were going to send him a $3,000 money order, and if they could cash it, and the difference was about $1,500, the car was cheaper. He's like, I have this money order already because I was going to buy another car and the sale fell through. So I'll just send you the $1,500. You can send me, I can send you the $3,000. You send me the $1,500 back, and then I'll pick up the car next Friday. And even though his brother was the division chief of the Consumer Protection Division, he did so and lost $1,500. Well, totally lost $3, because then the check bounced, or the money order bounced in his bank account. And then he was actually out of that money. So if you see something, it's a contract, it's a loan, an investment, and then you get nothing in return, you have to be really careful. If it sounds too good to be true, again, it probably is. And the last one that we see a lot of is an imposter scam. And an imposter scam comes in a lot of varieties, but they work the same way as all the others. They pretend to be someone that you trust, someone to convince you to send them money. They could be from your bank, local law enforcement claiming that maybe you didn't go to jury duty, the government, IRS, Social Security, or even your utility company, Puget Sound. We're going to shut off your electricity because you didn't pay. And they may even have the amount that you owed last month, and you can say you paid it, but they'll say, we didn't get receipt of that payment. Just take care of it now, or we're going to go and shut you off in 20 minutes. And again, there's that urgency to take care of it now. So, getting into now pandemic scams, these are the types of things that we're seeing now. But again, the information that we want you to take with you today is that there is a formula for these things, and they can take on any type of look, but the formula is the same. So scammers right now are using COVID or COVID-related issues to steal your money, to get your information, your financial information, because not only are you seen as a piggy bank, you're also seen as the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Because if they're able to get your identity, if they're able to, think that they're you, then they may get $400 out of you because you have an overdue electricity bill. But if they can steal your identity, they can become you. They can get credit cards, loans, cell phones, utilities, house rentals, anything in your name. And again, I've been scammed, but I recently, and we'll talk about this, the unemployment benefits, but there were unemployment benefits filed in my name just 2 weeks ago. So, and again, I work for the Attorney General's office. So scams do not discriminate. Anybody could get scammed. Anybody could get taken advantage of. And basically what that boiled down in my case was my identity was stolen. They had the wrong name, but they had enough information. They had a previous last name, and they had enough information on me to figure out that I worked at the Attorney General's office, and I get a letter from HR saying, hey, you're not collecting Social Security. And I said, no, I'm not. So it could happen to anyone. And I know a lot of teachers, social media is great for learning about what's happening to other people around you as well, because people will post about that in a very angry fashion. So right now, again, we're seeing government imposters, but this time these criminals are very opportunistic. They see that a lot of us are vulnerable right now. So many of us are vulnerable right now, and they're going to prey upon it. People are scared. People are looking for information. They're looking for resources. We're trying to protect our friends, our families, ourselves. Hence why we kind of put this together with the Fort Vancouver Regional Library System to get you information, because we know that people are looking for it. So a lot of times people are looking for medical equipment, medical attention, unemployed, looking for work. There's an extra level of desperation right now that could mean that someone makes an emotional decision that could make you a victim. So the first thing that we're seeing, or the first thing that I want to talk on is government imposters. So they're reaching out to people through social media, emails, phone calls, text messages, pretending to be from the government or to be a government entity. And we've even heard from the FBI that they're even going door to door trying to convince someone that they can provide money for COVID testing, financial relief, medical equipment, how to get your COVID testing, how to pay for it if you want to be in line to pay for it and get it before other people. And in the end, there's nothing there. So if you do hear something like that, or if you do hear that, you've gotten some sort of an email, text message, something along those lines, please don't hesitate to give us a call. We're also going to give you resources on how to report these fraudsters, these bad actors to all government agencies, including the Federal Trade Commission, the FBI. They have an Internet Crime Complaint Center. And again, you're going to get all these resources at the end of this presentation. Another thing that right now, the threat that we're most concerned about is fake cures, treatments for the virus. These cures can be extremely dangerous to your health. We want to protect ourselves right now, and so these could even be fatal. So you should never accept medical treatment or a virus test from anyone that is not your direct medical provider, your personal provider, your pharmacist, or your local health department. So make sure that you know where you're going, who you're talking to, and how you're getting this information, or where the testing will occur and what's the nature of the testing. Make sure there's a lot of resources going around. People are sharing it on social media. I've been seeing it myself, where they're doing testing in different counties. So make sure that you find out, has anyone else been tested? Do you know anyone else? Ask a lot of questions. You have a right to ask questions. Do not take this information blindly, because it means not only our financial health, but our physical health as well. Quarantine resources. So some examples of these scams, they involve essential services like supermarkets. You can get $250 worth of groceries now, and you'll get a text message, or you'll get an email, or maybe there's a phone call and you've answered it. How many of you do not answer numbers that you don't recognize? Right here. And that's kind of been hard, to be honest with you, because sometimes we are doing a lot of our work remotely, and we are trying to connect via teleconferencing and things of that nature. But if I get a phone call from a number that I don't recognize, I'm not answering it. And you have to leave me a voicemail, because otherwise I'm not calling you back either. And so I actually sent one of my coworkers to voicemail the other day because I didn't have her number. But some of these quarantine resources include supermarket offers of groceries, or sign up for these groceries now. I saw a text message out there on the internet stating that it claimed to be from Netflix, and that Netflix during the pandemic would be offering their streaming service for free during the pandemic. Now, does that sound too good to be true? Yeah. It definitely does. They've gained a lot of popularity during this pandemic. Some of the things that, something else that we've been seeing and that our call center staff has been hearing is either a phone call or an email from Amazon regarding people's membership. Your membership is expiring, or there's something wrong with your membership. You must verify it now. So you get a weird email and it's unexpected, and they claim to be from Amazon, and you have an Amazon membership. Please take a look at that email, because at the top of the email, it'll have to, which is you, right? But then it'll have from right above that. Hover over that, take a look at that. Take a look at that email address. If it has anything wrong, if it's not like from customer service at Amazon.com, it's probably a scam. It's going somewhere else, and it's sending you either to a link in there where you would go to verify your account. Don't click any links. If you think that maybe something legitimately is wrong with your account, go in and sign in yourself to your Amazon account, to your Netflix account, to Hulu, whatever streaming service you may have, or whatever social service that you're using. Even if you get a weird Facebook message claiming to be from Facebook and your account has been compromised or something along those lines, sign in yourself. Again, it boils back down to unsolicited contact. You didn't look for this information. It showed up in your lap. So check your account, sign in. If you know that you have your account on automatic renewal, like I do myself, and mine doesn't expire until November. So if I got something like that, I would be very suspicious as to why my account was expiring. So this is a pattern. If if we're all listening about it now, you're hearing it now, you might be able to distinguish those signs in these patterns. So we've also heard that the FBI is calling about your Social Security being compromised. That sounds a little weird, right? Why would the FBI be calling you? You'd think it'd be more the Social Security Administration. Well, the FBI sounds a lot scarier. So these scammers are going to use any government entity that they can think of to get you to respond, to get you to be afraid, to get you to do that make that emotional decision. We've even heard Yelp, supposedly people are getting emails or calls from Yelp if they're a small business and want to increase your advertising, especially now during the COVID pandemic. For $50, you can get, this, boosted advertising on social media for 30 days, and then increase your views, reach people during the pandemic that you wouldn't reach before, because again, everyone's connected, or people are connected in some way, shape, or form. You must be leery of these things. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. We've also seen information on unemployment benefits. So here's where yours truly got her identity stolen. Millions of Americans have filed for unemployment right now during this COVID pandemic. Calls to state employment services have overwhelmed phone lines and websites, so people are having a hard time to connect. But if all of a sudden you get an email, a text message, a link where you can connect now and give us your information now and we'll sign you up now, you think maybe you filed for those services when in reality you gave them information so that they can file in your name. That's not what happened to me. I think something my identity had been compromised in some way, some other time, and they used whatever they had to see if they could get these benefits. So scammers are pretending to represent government entities. Their goal is to steal the claimant's benefits, money, personal information to commit crimes in your name, like identity theft, and then other types of fraud. So if you're recently unemployed, or someone who is, it behooves them to find out or to recognize the signs of an unemployment scam, and then how to protect yourself. Again, if it's unsolicited contact and they claim to be from the government, and you don't want to hang up, right? Because you've been calling them for days now and hours and you're on the phone. Please keep at it, because unless you call and there's some sort of an option that says get a call back, like my cellular company does that. If you don't want to wait in line, you're 20th in line, call us or put in some information, or, press 1 and we'll call you back within 20 minutes. That happened the other day and I didn't answer because, again, I don't answer calls. They left a voicemail and said, "This is your callback that you requested. We will call you back in 10 minutes. So they did leave me a voicemail. So then when they called again 10 minutes later, I did answer. So there are ways to protect yourself. You just have to be vigilant. The next thing that we're hearing right now is stimulus payments. So scams regarding your stimulus payment, if you want to get it faster, if you haven't gotten it yet, do you know if you qualify? Would you like another one? There's another stimulus payment happening, supposedly, right? According to these fraudsters. We are desperate times. There are a lot of, our unemployment rates have skyrocketed. People are struggling to have money to buy, our groceries, to take care of our family members, to work from home. If it sounds too good to be true, I cannot stress that enough. It probably is. Don't believe everything that you hear. If you get a phone call, a text message, an email, some sort of social media contact, like, through your social platforms like Facebook or Twitter, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. The government is not going to write to you via Facebook. So please be careful and give us a call. Ask us questions. We're here as your resource. The last thing that we see, especially right now during this pandemic, is a job opportunity scam. So if you're looking for a job, if you're signing up and, leaving your, electronic resume out there to contact you, be really leery of any company that tries to send you money to set up your home office. That's a scam that the FBI has been seeing a lot of lately, where people will get a money order, a check, or some sort of a transfer where they'll be told to spend X amount of money on their setting up their home office, and then to send the rest of that money back via a wire transfer. So again, as we talked before, this check bounces, you're out that money, you're out whatever equipment that you purchased, you're out, and your bank will hold you accountable. And all of a sudden, you don't hear anything more from these businesses. Their website is shut down. I know we tell people, but Elena, they have a really great looking website. Anyone can make a website. Anyone can say anything on the internet. You have to be careful. Again, please call us, ask us any questions. So be suspicious. I am a very suspicious person. My loved ones can tell you, Elena doesn't trust just anything or anybody, to be honest. So be suspicious of any, published COVID-19 offer, especially those that are posted on social media or received from a suspicious source. Avoid opening any links or attachments from people that you don't know. Again, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Do your own research. Check if the offer exists on the business's legitimate platform or domain. So don't just take at face value whatever email you get with the link in it is where you're going to go. Do your own search. Don't provide any personal information or financial details if you're not sure that it's legitimate. Avoid accepting offers that claim that this offer will end soon. This sense of urgency, again, is meant to induce panic of the situation, pressure people into making an emotional decision. And then number one, again, I mentioned this earlier, I'm kind of a nerd. Look for spelling or grammatical errors. These are common traits of scammers because a lot of times English is their second language. So now we'll talk a little bit about some of the effects and the recovery of a scam. So what are some of the effects? Loss of trust, loss of security, there's depression, there's self-blame, financial destitution, and then in the end, there's even the potential of identity theft. So you have to be really careful, especially if you're dealing with maybe a loved one, an older person. You can't blame anyone. They're blaming themselves already. Believe me, when I was scammed, I called my mom. I cried on the phone for over an hour because I'd lost, and it doesn't sound like a lot to some people, but $250 to a 20-something-year-old at that time who was struggling really hard with a new baby, that was a lot of money. And there can't be any blame. You just have to, everyone gets scammed, everyone. And in some way, shape, or form, you just have to listen and don't let that get to you. Talk about it to other people. So recovery, number one, stop contact with the scammer. Don't make any more payments. Don't let them coerce you into paying more. Well, you owe this and you did that and now you have to pay for it. Don't blame yourself. Talk about it with others, and then look for those resources. Contact our office. Again, Fort Vancouver Library is going to have resources for you as well. So very briefly, what is identity theft? So again, I'd like to define stuff. Identity theft is a deliberate use of someone else's identity. It's usually a method to gain financial advantage, obtain credit, other benefits in someone else's name. So identity theft thieves, they take your information, they can drain your bank account, run charges on your credit cards, on your current credit cards, open new credit cards, open even utility accounts. You can't imagine the people that have filed a complaint with our office stating, you know, I got a cellular service that I've never had and it's in Georgia. Sometimes these scammers even get medical treatment in your name, in your health insurance. And you know, they take advantage of your health insurance, and sometimes they file a tax return in your name. 2 years ago, I had my tax documents stolen out of my mailbox. I didn't get a return, so I don't think that they tried to file, because I think I might have even owed money. But those of you who do get a refund, you must be careful. We encourage that people, you know, as soon as be on the lookout for that type of information if you're expecting it. So some types of identity theft: tax preparation, child identity theft, and medical identity theft. These are also different kinds of, just as opposed to your personal identity being stolen as well. You must be vigilant. You must be careful. So what are some of the clues? There's all of a sudden unexplainable withdrawals from your bank account. You don't get bills. Your mail has been rerouted. Merchants, if you're still using checks, refuse to take your checks. You start getting all kinds of debt collector calls, and not just the fraudulent ones, but you're all of a sudden you're seeing an increase of, you know, you owe money at this place or this agency or this, you know, debt collector that's local is calling you. And then if you do take a look at your credit report, you start seeing that there's unfamiliar accounts or charge-offs that are on your credit report. So, and we'll talk about this right now, but it's worth mentioning that the three credit bureaus right now during the pandemic and until April 2021 are offering you the opportunity through annualcreditreport.com. Again, you'll get that resource, but Annual Credit Report. Don't believe any other agencies that claim, any other pages that claim to offer you your free credit report, but annualcreditreport.com. You're able to get your report from all three bureaus once a week until April 2021. So every week you can be checking your own credit report. So annualcreditreport.com. Every week, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. So some other clues are medical bills for services that you did not use, a rejection of a legitimate medical claim because your limits have been reached, your health plan won't cover because your medical records show that you have some sort of an unknown condition. Now it's the IRS telling you that more than one tax return has been filed, or you get a notice in the mail of where you've been compromised by a data breach. And that all boils down to your personally identifiable information. And at the AGO, Attorney General's Office, we like to use acronyms a lot, so we call it PII. So what is PII? It's your social security number, your driver's license, or your state ID, your passport, your alien registration number, your financial account numbers, meaning your bank account number, and even sometimes, in some cases, your utility numbers. So along with names, social security numbers, and dates of birth, fraudsters also use Medicare numbers, addresses, birth certificates, death certificates, financial account numbers, passwords, mother's maiden name, father's middle name, telephone numbers, biometric data, and they use all of this to commit identity theft. So how do we protect ourselves? What can you do? Number one, hang up the phone. If you get a phone call, hang it up. Again, I don't answer calls that I don't recognize. Say no, hang up the phone, do your research independently, ask for advice. Who can you call? When I do in-person presentations, I make everybody say the Attorney General's office, not Ghostbusters, right? So ask for help or advice. Give us a call. Report to as many agencies as you can. If you want to talk to the BBB, do so. Attorney General's office, Federal Trade Commission, FBI, IRS, Social Security, report what's happening, because this not only does it let us know that these scams are still happening, but it gives us information so that when we do outreach and education, we continue to talk about these things because they are on the forefront. share your story, and then continue to learn about new ways to protect yourself. Go to our website. We have a lot of information on there. So what you can do yourself, taking charge, protect your PII, protect all of that information. How many of you are carrying your Social Security card in your wallet or your purse? I hope no one is. There is no need to ever carry that with you anymore. Not anymore, not that there ever really was, but a lot of times we did. My dad always carried his, I carried mine and my children's, but I do not, and it's been years since I've done that. Run your credit reports throughout the year. Right now, you have a little bit less, you have 10 months to run your credit report every week. Keep on top of that. If an agency asks you for your Social Security number, ask them why they need it, how they're going to protect it. Don't carry more than information that you need, and always update your operating system, security software on your computer, on your laptop, on your smartphone, on your tablet, or any type of device, electronic device. Always keep that up to date. If you are getting a new device, wipe those devices before getting rid of them. Use secure and strong passwords. Don't open an email that you don't expect or you don't know. Again, unsolicited contact. Don't respond to emails that appear to be from your bank, the IRS, or utilities. What can you do? Call them yourself. Look up that real number. Stay away from any shady websites, unfamiliar websites. I don't do business with all these agents. On Facebook, you can see like, oh, look at this shirt. It's $1.99. Do I want a shirt that's $1.99 in the end of the game? Am I going to end up paying, $199 for that shirt? I don't want to do that. Collect your mail every day. I have my youngest child. It's her job every day to go to the mailbox and make sure that that mail's picked up. Pay attention to your billing cycles as well. How many of you, if you see a $1 charge extra on your bill, do you say anything about it? You really should, because why am I getting charged $1 extra? I know sometimes I can be kind of nitpicking, and I'll go back into a grocery store. If I've been charged 70 cents, I'll go back just to make sure that, why. Make me understand, help me understand why I'm getting charged more. Oh, is it an oversight? Can I have my 70 cents back? Review your account statements monthly as well. And everything that you get that has any type of information of yours on it, shred it, burn it, tear it up into tiny little pieces to prevent dumpster diving. Do not let these criminals get the information from your own hands. You can also remove yourself from contact lists. If you are getting new credit, or let's say you're a person who's just started getting credit, you can also opt out to not get those types of offers, and then you can choose the offers that you want. Contact your credit companies, find out if there's any fraudulent behavior, do that right away, and then understand website privacy policies when you are purchasing something online. And then also always find out what the return policy is as well. So let's say you're a victim, how can you recover? If your information was lost or stolen, so if any of the following was lost or stolen, what you can do, who you can contact. Again, we'll have some information for you, some resources, so you're not just taking a bunch of that, right now really quickly, but you can, you can report your Social Security number as compromised, depending on where, obviously. Don't think that you can get a new Social Security number because that's pretty near impossible to do. And I've only heard of sometimes it happening for victims of domestic violence who can, maybe possibly apply for a new Social Security number so that they can, start a new life. But if you get it compromised and if someone's offering you a monitoring system, take advantage of it. Get your free credit reports. Again, if your password was changed, go in and change your password, rechange it, even change in your login information, your debit or credit card, report that right away to your bank account. And maybe they'll even change your bank account information. If you've lost your driver's license, report that right away to the Department of Licensing. Let them know in case, someone else tries to use your identity. And if it's your child's information, again, annual credit report will allow you to check your child's information so you can find out, because a lot of times kids don't know that their identity has been stolen until they are 18 years old and trying to get a loan to go to school. So call the company where the fraud occurred, place a fraud alert, get your credit report, report it to the Federal Trade Commission, and file a police report, because identity theft is a crime. please file a police report. After that, close any newly opened accounts, remove fraudulent accounts from your credit report, correct that credit report, and consider adding an extended fraud alert or a credit fee freeze to your credit history, and this will help you stop debt collectors. Other possible accounts where you could be compromised are your utilities, government benefits, we've mentioned that a little bit, student loans as well, and rentals. You might end up having a rental in your name and it's not yours because you don't live in Georgia. So know your rights. File an FTC, that's Federal Trade Commission, identity theft report, place a 1-year fraud alert, or even an extended, which would be a 7-year fraud alert. Get free copies of your credit report. Again, you can do that weekly until 2021, April 2021. Dispute any fraudulent or inaccurate information to stop those debt collectors from contacting you. And if they don't, file a complaint with our office. So here are some resources that you can take right now. Again, you're going to get that information, but if you have your phone handy, just take a picture of that. Equifax, their 1-800 number, and freeze how to do that, how to mail. But we also recommend that if you are going to send your personal information to these agencies, do it certified mail so that you know that they get it. And then there's Experian and TransUnion themselves. Some of them do have a toll-free number, some of them do not, but you can go to their website. Again, annualcreditreport.com is another website. And then we have information for you with the Federal Trade Commission. They have a special website, identitytheft.gov, where you can put in a scenario. Let's say you think your identity was stolen. You can put in a scenario and the steps that you can take to get that remedied. And then last but not least, the Office of the Attorney General, file a complaint, and you can call us at 1-800-551-4636. So, Mary, I am done, and I hope I have not taken all of the time, but we have a lot to say. And thank you again for having us. And so now we'll open it up to questions.
All right. Thank you so much, Elena. That was really wonderful and had so much wonderful content. We didn't receive any questions during the program, but I will allow folks now, if they would be interested, if they have any questions that they'd like to ask. There is a Q&A function at the bottom of the screen, and there's also the chat box. And if you can find either of those and you have a question you'd like to drop it in there, let us know. I will mention again that we've recorded this program, and we will send a link to the recording as well as some resources that Elena has mentioned a couple times to everyone so that you can share it with folks. We want to, of course, get the word out far and wide about how to protect yourself. And let's see, do we have any questions? I'm not seeing anything, so I think that will probably mean that we're good. But I want to thank everybody. What was that?
I've scared everyone into not asking any questions, and so now they're just kind of like, ah.
Or you've just had such a thorough program that that you've answered and anticipated questions that people might have had. Regardless, if you do have any questions, Elena has shared contact information. The website, the Attorney General's website here in the state of Washington, is a treasure trove of information. And like I said, we will be sending out some more resources for you. And of course, the library is available if you have any questions as well. We want to be available for folks and connect them with resources should they need them. Thank you so much for being here. Just as a heads up, we have all kinds of virtual programs that you can access through our website and check out our online and virtual programs. We are just about to launch our Summer at Your Library program for youth and adults, an opportunity to read over the summer and participate with us even though our locations are closed. So we'll look forward to hopefully seeing you then. And thank you very much for your time. Thank you, Elena, for being here today and joining us for this amazing presentation. And as long as nobody else has any other questions, I will go ahead and end our recording and the program.
Thank you so much for having us, Mary. I appreciate it. We love partnering with the library, so thank you.
Yes, of course. Thank you.